Hello everyone, this is Pujan Ghosh and I welcome you all to our episode number 2 on the conversations. The topic of our discussion today is one of the most talked about topics in recent past, which has brought a revolution in the monetary paradigm. Any guesses? Yeah, you guessed it right. We are going to share our insights on the topic cryptocurrency and its use as a medium of exchange. Joining us today in our discussion are Akshansh Vidyarthi, a budding entrepreneur and founder of Business World Web, Shweta Gupta, editor of The Frame, Kolkata, Obik Das, research enthusiast and someone who has got a publication to his name on the book Migrant Workers in the India's COVID Economy. Hindol H. Shihan, who is the editor of Language Mantra, and he has completed his MA in Film Arts. My first question would be to you, Akshansh. Like, what is your take? Like, how safe, is it to invest in cryptocurrency?
See, cryptocurrency has lots of advantages, and I'll tell it has more advantages than disadvantages, but those disadvantages take over its advantages. Yes, it's good to invest, but when you see in long term and consider its risk and volatility, because cryptocurrency is one of the most volatile commodity in today's investing. It's even more volatile than gold and any other. Even if you're trading in terms of commodity market or in gold market, or if you're even trading with currency market, all considering any of the markets, cryptocurrencies is a very volatile market. So if you're ready to take that risk and you know that volatility of that product, yeah, it's a good option. But when you consider crypto as a currency or as a medium of exchange, we'll further discuss. And I have a few opinion to share with an example. So we can start with that.
Very nice of putting it, Akshansh. Shohit, though, like, I'd like to ask you, like, how will you put it? Like, how a person, like, if someone is watching us today, how that person can be sure, or if you can put some light or emphasis on how people can earn money with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency for the matter.
Via normal trading the cryptocurrency through any exchange. Now this is very much prevalent, trading in cryptocurrency. So by investing in cryptocurrency for a long term, especially in bitcoins, so a person can earn like that. And in terms of medium of exchange, it's a bit complicated, or not a bit, it's quite complicated, because the value of the cryptocurrency changes over time. So there are advantages and disadvantages as a medium of exchange. So we will further discuss upon it in further.
Just to add to that, you can also mine in order to.
Yes,
that's also another source.
True. Like Hindol, you have brought a very interesting concept here in like mining. What really mining is and how a person can earn via this technique. Will you please put some emphasis on this?
Mining is an interesting process where, first of all, you need to understand what a P2P network is. P2P network is basically a decentralized version of a database server, if you will, where everybody controls and regulates the transactions which are happening simultaneously and make sure that there is no abnormality in it. And mining is a process where you check that everything is right with the proof of work and make sure that everything is regulated, and through that you are gifted some Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency in exchange, whichever you're mining at that point. And the whole process is a long process where you initially, if I consider Bitcoin, you used to get 50 Bitcoins to mine initially, and that consequently reduces every 4 years. And it's going to reduce even further. And we'll come to the question where we'll discuss like there are only 21 million Bitcoins currently, and it's going to end soon. This is a misconception. We're going to talk about it later on.
Okay, very good. Obik, you have been a research enthusiast, and cryptocurrency is the topic of interest. I know, like your topic of interest. So, what is your take on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and how you see, cryptocurrency's future as we move ahead?
So I agree with the panelists. So I think that bitcoins and the era of cryptocurrencies has a very bright future in the, because many people are coming out from the past, and they are very eager to invest in cryptocurrencies, especially in the developed economies, US, UK, and especially in India also. Like the youngsters have also very enthusiastic about the cryptocurrencies, and also I I see it as a bright spot in the new financial economy, because many investors, such as Warren Buffett, have also shown eagerness for cryptocurrencies. Elon Musk recently have shown eagerness to the new cryptocurrencies such as the Dogecoin. So I think
Dodge.
that big investors are coming into play in the cryptocurrency economy. And also, as an investor, I think that cryptocurrencies is both pros and cons, just as Akshan said. Um, as a medium of exchange, I think that it cannot be totally replaced. The domestic currency, our domestic currency, cannot be totally replaced by cryptocurrency, because, as you know, that cryptocurrencies are subject to volatility, price volatility are very much. So you cannot totally replace a domestic currency with a cryptocurrency, right? So it will, but it 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 offers a lot of opportunities, because you can earn a lot, very huge amount. So a person investing in Bitcoin can earn 10 to 12 times rather than a normal stock. But you have to be a risk seeker, particularly. And also, cryptocurrencies also require a high technology. The mining requires high amount of technical facilities and high level of computers, which again, in developing economies, have to develop that sophisticated technology has to be developed in order to mine cryptocurrencies. And also, there is a limitation which we will discuss further in
Okay,
the
Ubik,
process.
you brought about a very nice concept, price volatility. Like, why cryptocurrency, sees or faces or experiences such price volatility?
Because I think that personally that cryptocurrencies are subject to price volatility, because, as you know, that as many suppose, for example, take bitcoins. If bitcoins are mined, uh, now there is a concept of blockchain. We have to be clear about the blockchain technique. So a blockchain is a peer-to-peer network, which doesn't allow any third parties to operate. So it's so, in a way, bitcoins are free from the central bank authorities, just as the normal currencies we see that there is no function of central banks or any. It can be mined on their own. So as you mine the bitcoins, so there are ups and downs in the valuation of the bitcoins and the cryptocurrencies. And also, there are major events such as any financial markets ups and downs. So there can be various ups and downs in the prices of the bitcoins. So I think that they are very volatile in nature. So as a result, nowadays, there are stable coins such as Tether, which we will discuss later. So people are now moving to stable coins, which will reduce significantly the price volatility seen in bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies. So I think the stable coins provide a stability in the prices. But bitcoins, as you know, that there are no price controls. So it can go up like 10 times, 20 times, or it can crash, as we have seen in the financial markets.
Ubik talked about a very interesting concept, medium of exchange. So my question to you, Shohito, would be how risky it is as a medium of exchange, and how much is it, truly acceptable globally?
As a medium of exchange, yeah, it's quite risky in the sense that suppose, um, suppose from you only, Pujan, if I buy a house, say of 1 lakh, corresponding to 1 lakh, I give you some bitcoins. Okay. Now, if the value of the bitcoins go further up in future, you will be in a better of position, and I will be in a worse of position. And in the other way around, if the value of the Bitcoin falls in future, let's say a short period of time, very short, 2 to 3 days, then you will be in the worse of position, but I will be in a better of position. Now the problem is now the question is that what can be the solution here? So for that, you and me, both of us have to be good in analysis that what type of price you can set for me, so that you will be in a better of position, and from my perspective, at what price should I be willing to buy so that I can be in a better of position. So
what you are saying,
as a
Shoito,
yeah.
is like we cannot buy a fixed asset with bitcoins because the bitcoins value will change time to time.
Yeah, this is a disadvantage I am saying. So if cryptocurrency comes into play as a medium of exchange, and if one organization accepts only cryptocurrency, then of course I will not be willing to go for that.
I agree. तो अक्षांश, मेरा आपसे एक क्वेश्चन रहेगा कि इंडिया में क्यों बिटकॉइन हम लोग एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहे उतना, या फिर फ्यूचर आप क्या देखते हो? क्योंकि इंडिया का पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज्यादा है, इंडिया का मार्केट वर्ल्ड का सबसे बड़ा मार्केट माना जाता है, तो आपका क्या व्यू है इस पे, आपका क्या विचार है इस पे कि बिटकॉइन या क्रिप्टो करेंसी का क्या फ्यूचर होने वाला है इंडिया में, या फिर इंडियन के जो लोग हैं, इंडिया के जो लोग हैं, वो कैसे इसको एक्सेप्ट करेंगे आने वाले दिन में?
देखिए मैं पूरी तरह से सहमत हूँ जो सोहितो ने बताया, पहला चीज, ठीक है। तो पहला एक छोटा सा आपको एक हिस्ट्री बताता हूँ, मीडियम एक्सचेंज का मतलब क्या होता है, ठीक है, और करेंसी क्यों मीडियम एक्सचेंज है, एंड बाकी मीडियम एक्सचेंज कुछ स्टॉक्स नहीं है, ठीक है। सो इट्स हैज टू कैरेक्टरिस्टिक। फर्स्ट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक इज कि आप उसके अगेंस्ट में कुछ भी सर्विसेज या गुड्स खरीद पाओ, पहला चीज, ठीक है। दूसरा चीज क्या है कि अगर आप उसको फ्यूचर के लिए सेव करते हो तो उसका वैल्यू बढ़े, इन टर्म्स की हम नहीं बात कर रहे कि आप कहीं पे मार्केट में लगा दें, आप अपने पास सेव कर रहे हो। सपोज कि आज से लेके 1 साल के लिए 1-1 रुपया जमा कर रहा हूं, तो उसका वैल्यू एंड ऑफ 1 ईयर शुड बी 365 कि मैं डेली 1 रुपया बचाया, ठीक है, उसका वैल्यू गिरना नहीं चाहिए। जस्ट तो उसके कॉन्ट्रेरी में क्या है ना, अकॉर्डिंग टू जो बिटकॉइन और क्रिप्टो करेंसी का मैं बात करूं, बिटकॉइन क्रिप्टो करेंसी होल सेट का बात करूं, तो देयर इज अ ह्यूज चांस कि आई लूज माय वैल्यूएशन। सपोज कि आई स्टार्टेड सेविंग परचेजिंग एवरी डे 0.1% ऑफ बिटकॉइन। तो मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव होगा कि मैं 1 साल बाद उसका वैल्यू 100 रुपया हो, बट वो 100% नहीं है, जो कि एक करेंसी में होना चाहिए। करेंसी में अगर आप सेव कर रहे हैं तो आपको वो वैल्यूएशन कंटिन्यूअसली इंक्रीज होना चाहिए, ना कि गिरना चाहिए। नाउ कमिंग टू द टॉपिक व्हाट यू आस्क्ड, considering the same factor, these are the factors which a cryptocurrency has. India is a very huge economy. Secondly, it's an economy whose major population lives under whose population is mostly your middle class and poor people. Okay, so and tendency of Indian currency people are saving tendency. When you compare it with the Western world, they have a spending. So what happens कि when you have a tendency of spending, so वो रिस्क उतना मैटर नहीं करता कि आप आज खरीदे एंड बेस कल आप उसको यूज कर लिए, तो आज का वैल्यू उतना नहीं गिरा। बट व्हेन यू कंसिडर द सेविंग फैक्टर, जो हमारे कंट्री में मोस्टली होता है, नॉर्मल करेंसी वी हैव अ सेविंग फैक्टर। सो अब अगर आप 1 साल बाद लूज करते हैं ना उस जो आपने बचाया है, इंस्टेंटली दैट इंटरेस्ट गो अवे एंड वही होगा। सो talking about cryptocurrency, I have a negative key. This could be used as a trading object. It could be used for
a portfolio in financial.
Exactly. Totally agreed. Same point, but not as a medium of exchange and not to be introduced. Yes, if government want to introduce, government should introduce for trading with rules and regulation. But there again see. कि when you what अभी told the volatility, अब होता यह है कि स्टॉक मार्केट भी कभी गिरता है ना, तो स्टॉक मार्केट भी बहुत ग्रेजुअली गिरता है एंड उसको बचाया जा सकता है। बट इस वॉलेटिलिटी के चक्कर में ना, अगर सपोज गिरता है, गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेट भी करना चाहे तो गवर्नमेंट बचा नहीं सकती है। जो आपको पता हो कि 2008 में क्या हुआ, 2008 में during the Manmohan Singh government when the market crashed, they saved lots of market to be ये गिरने से बचा लिया। उन्होंने कैसे? they put in own money, गवर्नमेंट ने अपना पैसा लगा के उसको बचा लिया। बट क्रिप्टो करेंसी का वॉलेटिलिटी इतना है ना कि अगर एक बार वो ना, मतलब एक बार वो 100 से 1 गिर सकता है, तो आपके पास वहां बचाने का भी नहीं रहेगा। तो सिंपल की आप एक दिन में उस क्रिप्टो करेंसी से राजा भी बन सकते हैं एंड एक सेम पॉइंट पे आप रंक भी बन सकते हैं, मतलब पुअर भी हो सकते हैं। So when you see this drastic change, I do not consider it as a very medium of exchange. And for my from my point of view, future of cryptocurrency in India is not very fruitful, and people will not be accepting. हाँ, एक और चीज है कि एग्जैक्टली व्हेन पीपल फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो पब्लिक को नॉलेज होना चाहिए, वो भी यहाँ पे उस रिगार्डिंग कम है जो एजुकेशन रिगार्डिंग मार्केट है, फाइनेंशियल मार्केट, आपको पता ही है कि कंडीशन क्या है फाइनेंशियल मार्केट का, लोग यहाँ पे बैंकिंग उतनी तरीका से इस्तेमाल नहीं करते, क्रिप्टो करेंसी तो बहुत दूर का बात है, ये भी एक फैक्टर है, ठीक है, बट यस क्रिप्टो करेंसी डज नॉट हैव अ वेरी ब्राइट फ्यूचर फ्रॉम माय साइड इन इंडिया।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अक्षांश, बहुत ही बेहतरीन पॉइंट्स थे। As Akshanks was mentioning about the use of cryptocurrency, there is a burning issue about terrorism, like terrorist funding. So, what would be your take on this cryptocurrency and terrorism, like with the blockchain technology and the hackers? I think terrorists could be beneficial, and they
I think
might
it's not only
be having an
terrorism
upper hand.
which is involved here. Let's consider it in the bubble of criminality, okay, as a whole. Whenever you introduce a new technology, there is always a prospect of criminals using it more than normal people, because you have a certain advantage to it, because your government doesn't even know how to regulate it and how to control it. That's why it is used. Even consider internet for an example. Internet in the beginning was used for very malicious activities and even for pornography. And it takes some time to adopt, it takes some time to regulate and make it efficient. And that's what happened. Now, I'm going to give you statistics which was declared by, there are various institutions who make sure that these calculations are there and they actually give to federal agencies. There are companies like, wait a second, I'm forgetting their names.
Okay, no issue. Just tell what
so
they
those
mean.
Those companies give annual reports where in 2019 the total amount of malpractice in cryptocurrency world was 2.1%, but in 2020 it reduced to 0.6%, which is around 2.16 million or something like that. And when you consider, it's a big amount drop when you measure it, and when you compare it with any fiat money, then fiat money terrorism activities or any malpractice is in trillions. So I don't think it's that risky when it comes to terrorism right now.
Ubik, what is your take in this? Like, what do you believe? I'd like to know you.
On terrorism, right? On crypto.
Right.
I think that yes, I totally agree with Hindol that with cryptocurrencies, actually there is no government regulation, as there is no central authority in place, so people can enter into the blockchain network and they can mine on their own and they can fund their activities, right? So terrorists operating in foreign lands and foreign areas can have an easy access of their
but
funding.
There are federal agencies who are actually regulating it there. You cannot say that there is no regulation right now. For more than 5 years, there are government regulations which are acting on it.
Okay. So, but as I believe that terrorism, cryptocurrencies give a upper hand to their funding activities, because to some extent cryptocurrencies have not taken the full picture as a domestic currency or a domestic fiat coin, as if we compare between the two. So I think that terrorist funding is increased through cryptocurrencies and with the coming of other coins also. So I think that this should be regulated, this should be checked by the government agencies and other central agencies. Just like Hindol said, that many have come into the action and have taken their part into the controlling of the terrorist funding through cryptocurrencies.
It has very
nice point. Yeah, very nice point about that. Cryptocurrency is not being not having proper rules and regulations. Central body are not coming into being, and they are not regulating that. So this is a major concern. So Sohit, I'd like to ask you, like, why central governments are not taking this into account, and why rules and regulations are not being considered as far as the functioning of cryptocurrency is concerned? Like, what do you believe?
Yeah.
Like, why this is happening?
Basically, whatever mining is taking place of the cryptocurrencies are getting recorded in the blockchains, as was mentioned by Hindu. And this technology means the track of this mining is to all, means everyone can keep a note on this, means whoever is having the computers and the advanced technologies, anyone irrespective of their location in the world, they can track it. And naturally this is completely decentralized, and with that motive only it was created, that it has to be something which has to be decentralized, means no authority should be there. So that's why government control is zero. But as far as the transactions, the record of the transactions is considered, it is getting recorded. But when it comes to that billions of transactions are taking place, then of course what Hindol and Obik said, that those terrorist funding activities, those will become very difficult to track.
तो अक्षांश, आपने बहुत बेहतरीन पॉइंट बोला था इसके पहले, आपने बैंकिंग सेक्टर का मेंशन किया। तो सपोज एक सिचुएशन लेते हैं, आज से 5 साल बाद क्रिप्टो करेंसी मार्केट पे छा जाता है, ठीक है, तो बैंकिंग सेक्टर में कैसा रेवोल्यूशन आप देखते हैं इसके आने से?
बैंकिंग रेवोल्यूशन में इट विल बी एक्चुअली कॉल्ड अ रेवोल्यूशन, बिकॉज आप सबसे पहले वहां पे सिक्योरिटी आपके पास एकदम, मतलब ये जो, अगर मैं लेमन लैंग्वेज बोलूं तो ब्लॉकचेन क्या है? ब्लॉकचेन है कि मेरा और आपके, सपोज मेरे और आपके बीच में ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, ठीक है, उसका कॉपी, ओरिजिनल कॉपी 100 लोग के पास है, एंड नंबर ऑफ पीपल के पास, जिसको अगर आप एक भी हैक करते हैं तो वो हैक नहीं होता, आपको सबको हैक करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। सो दैट इज अ ब्लॉकचेन। सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बोले कि जो मेरा और आपके बीच में टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन का जो एग्रीमेंट है वो डिफरेंट माइनर्स लोग के पास है, वो सब से वेरीफाई होके एग्रीमेंट तैयार होता है, ठीक है। सो अब जैसे जो फिशिंग होता है या फिर आपके ओटीपी से कैश निकाल जाता है, वो पॉसिबिलिटी टोटली खत्म हो जाएगा कि आपको कोई ओटीपी आया, आप पुट किए, आपने वो कर दिया, तो वो जो हैकिंग सिस्टम है वो खत्म हो
इवन थ्रू NFTs।
एग्जैक्टली नॉन फंजिबल। तो एनएफटी सिंपल क्या है? एनएफटी क्या है कि जो ब्लैक, जो व्हाट इज कॉल्ड द डार्क नेट के थ्रू दे कीप आई ऑन योर वेबसाइट, आई ऑन व्हाट यू आर यूजिंग, एंड उसके थ्रू दे ट्रैक योर डेटा एंड दे ट्राई टू गेट इट। एग्जैक्टली। तो यहाँ पे वो पॉसिबिलिटी खत्म हो जाता है, क्योंकि वो एक यूनिक कोड देता है जो केवल आपके पास है, वो कहीं दिखाई नहीं देता, वो केवल आपके पास है, वो आप डालते हैं तो केवल वो इंक्रिप्शन में इनकोड होता है एंड आपको एक्सेस मिलता है। ये पॉसिबल, तो ये एडवांटेजेस है, ठीक है, दीज आर एडवांटेजेस। हाँ, अब वापस बैंकिंग सिस्टम में आप किस तरह का यूज करते हैं, आप वो भी देखने की बात होगी, क्योंकि अगेन में जो मैं पॉइंट, अब स्टिल मैं उसी पॉइंट को, जो पॉइंट मैंने खत्म किया था कि अगर बैंकिंग सिस्टम में होता है तो करेंसी के लिए यूज नहीं कर सकते, आप ट्रेडिंग के लिए ऑब्वियसली इसको यूज कर सकते हैं कि आप खरीदें, अपने बैंकिंग में उसको स्टोर कर दें, एंड बैंक आपको अलग से सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कर रही है फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ ट्रेडिंग।
Actually, there are crypto funds these days which are like amalgamating with banks right now. If you look into Philippines right now, there are
so India का currently India में वो
ATMs.
नहीं है ना? Exactly. See,
I'm not just talking about India, na. Cryptocurrency is not just India. That's why.
But
like, if you say that कि bank, like इंडिया का तो डेफिनेटली कंसिडर करूंगा, लेकिन मेरे को तो देखना पड़ेगा ना कि क्रिप्टोकरेंसी थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड में कैसा हो रहा है, एंड यू हैव आल्सो हैव टू लुक इन द मैटर दैट developing countries are accepting cryptocurrency more than developed countries.
Yeah, KFC.
You know why? Because it's making international transactions way easier than before. That's why Nigeria is like using it for like 32% or something like that.
So very important point Hindol pointed out, if cryptocurrency is introduced as a currency, so there will be no barrier of currency problem. See, when like a currency ka value wo khatam ho jayega, jo difference,
and you have let me pause you for a second. Like, you have to define how you are using a cryptocurrency first of all in order to comment if it's a currency or not. It is divided into 3 parts just for payments. Let's say ledgers. So that's one category only in which we are judging in it. If there are utility tokens, there are NFTs which work as a different thing. So you have to consider these, and the regulations should be according to that. Only then you can comment that it's not a currency. So how you commented that it's not exactly a currency, then please justify that.
No. Sorry. You got me right. I was telling if crypto, I was talking about cryptocurrency. If it comes as a currency, I was talking about its advantages. I was not talking about a specific. I was telling if cryptocurrency comes as a currency, so we'll be able to solve the problem of different currency having different currencies, because cryptocurrency will be used as a single currency, and the valuation would be same. Suppose for India, suppose I have 10 cryptocurrency, it will be same as I'll be having 10 cryptocurrency in USA.
Yeah,
Because
it'll take some time.
when you see,
that's why
exactly,
it's a future currency, not it's
exactly.
अक्षांश, ओके, तो हिंदोल आपने और अक्षांश ने बहुत ही बेहतरीन पॉइंट्स अभी बोला और रखा हम लोग के सामने. बहुत ही अच्छा था डिबेट, थोड़ा जो चला बहुत ही अच्छा लगा हम लोग. तो अक्षांश, इधर आप थोड़ा बहुत करेंसी के बारे में बोल रहे थे और हिंदोल इधर ओवरव्यू दिया वर्ल्ड में कैसे अभी बैंकिंग सेक्टर में थोड़ा बहुत टाई अप चल रहा है. फिलीपींस का भी एग्जांपल दिया, क्रिप्टो करेंसी थोड़ा आ रहा है बैंकिंग स्ट्रक्चर में भी. तो आपका क्या टेक है? लाइक हम लोग को ऐसा चलना चाहिए कि इसको एज ए करेंसी हम लोग देखें, या फिर जैसे चल रहा है कि हम लोग कमोडिटीज मार्केट में एज ए कमोडिटीज को ट्रीट कर सकते हैं, कौन सा बेहतर हो?
See, for the viewers, at the end of the day, we'll share a very important link. I just read 2 articles. That was one by Krugman, one of the current leading economists of the time, and one of the financial taker and a financial your educator, Mr. Ashwanath Doroman. He's a professor in US University. Okay, so they both have coined Bitcoin as an evil. There's an article also by Krugman, Bitcoin and evil. Okay, so consider when you read those articles, it's actually they're very right. यार आप as a currency तो use नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि as I told before, the major 2 points of a medium of exchange is not there. हाँ, अगर आपको प्लस अगर आप ट्रेडिंग में भी करते हैं तो जो वॉलेटिलिटी है ना, वो इतना है कि आप किसी से भी कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते. व्हेन यू सी कि गोल्ड भी जो है, ठीक है, वो जब स्टॉक मार्केट गिरता है तो वो उतना नहीं गिरता, या गोल्ड का भी जो डिनोमिनेटर जब वो स्टार्ट करता गिरना गिरता है तो वो उस लेवल का नहीं गिरता है, उस वॉलेटिलिटी का नहीं गिरता है कि सपोज कि आज अगर 10,000 रुपए 100 ग्राम है तो वो कल 5,000 रुपए 100 ग्राम नहीं होता. ये दैट्स द डिफरेंस का जो मतलब एग्जांपल देके मैं डिफरेंस का बात कर, बट ये इसमें है. ठीक है, ये क्रिप्टो करेंसी. हाँ, जैसे हिंदोल ने बोला कि जो हम एक जो टर्म किया था कि हम लोग कम एक लो वोटेलिटी वाला कॉइन्स आर बीइंग डेवलप्ड, अगर उस तरह के आते हैं, यस वी कैन मूव इनटू, बट स्टिल आई से करेंसी के तौर पे या मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज के तौर पे तो आई ऑब्वियसली हैव माय पॉइंट एज अ नो, क्योंकि आप अगर सेव करते हैं तो फ्यूचर में उसका क्या वैल्यू रहेगा वो हमारे पास अभी भी नहीं. ठीक है, एंड इसलिए कोई भी स्टॉक मार्केट या कमोडिटी मार्केट से कोई ट्रेड नहीं करता. ठीक है, आप अपने फैमिली को ट्रांसफर करते हो या एज अ गिफ्ट देते हो, बट एज अ मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज नहीं है. एंड ये भी एक कारण था बार्टर सिस्टम क्यों खत्म. बार्टर सिस्टम यही था कि आप और मैं जो एक्सचेंज कर, सपोज कि आपको 1 किलो चावल चाहिए, मेरे पास मैं शू बनाता हूँ, तो मैं आपको कितना शू दूंगा जो जिससे मैं आप 1 किलो का राइस ले चुकूं. तो वो जो डिफरेंस है कि कितना मैं दूंगा, कि जैसे सोहितो ने बताया था कि जब भी मैं एज ए मीडियम एक्सचेंज करूंगा तो वो एक रहेगा कि फ्यूचर में या तो आप वर्स ऑफ होंगे या तो मैं बेटर ऑफ होऊंगा. ये हमेशा लगा रहे.
मतलब ऐसा एक सिनेरियो आ जाएगा कि जीरो सम गेम रहेगा, कोई एक जीतेगा तो कोई एक हारेगा.
एग्जैक्टली.
आप इकोनॉमी का कोई ग्रोथ नहीं होगा, मतलब कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं रहेगा.
एग्जैक्टली.
अच्छा पॉइंट है.
जैसे आप सपोज की गाड़ी खरीदते हैं, तो गाड़ी में आप खरीदते हैं तो गाड़ी का आप 16 लाख का गाड़ी आप 16 लाख कैश कर देते हैं, पे कर देते, तो वैल्यू इक्वल हो गया. बट आप क्रिप्टो करेंसी देंगे, सपोज कि आपका देते के साथ. और एक चीज क्रिप्टो करेंसी बता दूं, आप अगर पढ़ोगे तो क्रिप्टो करेंसी का ट्रांजैक्शन आप बैक नहीं कर सकते हो, ये भी एक है. अब सपोज कि क्रिप्टो करेंसी मैंने आपके नाम पे ट्रांसफर कर दी, ठीक है, और इंस्टेंटली उसका वैल्यू गिर गया, तो मुझे तो ज्यादा देना पड़ जाएगा ना यार. या और मैं तो बताऊंगा भाई मैं तो आपके नाम पे साइन कर दी हूँ, अब तो मैं ज्यादा नहीं दूंगा. तो वहां पे तो आप एज अ जो वो है शॉपकीपर तो वर्स ऑफ हो गए, और मैं बेटर ऑफ या मैं जो भी हूँ आप तो वर्स ऑफ हो गए ना. सो यही पॉइंट.
Now I'd like to come to you, Shohit, though, like as Akshanks was saying, like what is your take? Like 5 years down the line, how do you see cryptocurrency performing globally?
Yeah, whatever Akshans was saying, I completely agree to that. Especially, it will be a problem whenever, suppose I am purchasing something today, but I will make the payment, let's say 1 month from now. So that time it will be a problem with the valuation. So I was thinking that just now it struck my mind. What if this happens that if the currencies of all the countries get standardized by the cryptocurrency, like when it was during the gold standard, the fixed exchange rate system was there. So how will it be? So that can be a question means that was coming to my mind right now. And five years down the lane, it's very difficult to predict from now on because it depends upon the economic situations of the, especially of the underdeveloped countries also, especially the because underdeveloped countries consist of huge illiterate people, so they are not aware of this cryptocurrency also. So for them it will be very difficult to cope up with the situation if the cryptocurrency becomes the ultimate currency of transaction.
Very
So,
valid point,
Shohit,
Sohito. Very
okay,
valid point regarding
Akshanks.
underdeveloped countries. Exactly.
Shohit, you were telling something, and I found a question that I feel that I should ask you now. Like gold is a tangible asset. We can see, we can feel, we know it exists.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cryptocurrency, we cannot feel it. Okay, we cannot touch it. We cannot see it. So how can you really consider it to be performing like gold standard, where there is a threat to many things? It is a complex process at the end of the day,
Yeah, absolutely.
mining and everything. So yeah, please, if you
Yeah,
can emphasize on that.
based on the value of the cryptocurrency, if the currencies get standardized, I'm saying that the one which used to happen with gold. Yeah, gold is a tangible asset, like you said. But if we consider both of them as just an asset, because we are standardizing it with that. So in that perspective, it was coming to my mind because just in order to put a halt upon this volatility in the values, because this will create lots of confusions, not only confusion, lots of problems.
Okay, you meant about the functionings, right? The functioning
Yeah,
as it
yeah,
goes with.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, I got it.
Even that
Anyone
time,
wants to take like
If I'm not
last one,
wrong with,
last one. Even that time, the valuation of gold also used to change. Yeah, but for the cryptocurrency, like not like cryptocurrency that's with so much fluctuations, but the gold has a proper trend, the upward trend, but not like cryptocurrency that some of the cryptocurrencies are going up, some of the cryptocurrencies are going down. So this is a big complex situation, but it just came to my mind that if this kind of situation can take place.
okay, I got it. Hindul, you were telling something.
just a quick add to what you were saying, Shweta was saying, that what if the cryptocurrencies are stable, what will happen to the economics and everything? Then the whole world will act like a closed economy where the rise of price increases, the rise of fees, because soon the mining will stop because the upper cap will be reached. After that, a fees will be added to it where the mine so that the mining can continue and the fees will rise, and that will also increase the incentives. So it will basically act as a closed economy as a whole. The whole world will act as a closed economy, and in that way it will be more stable.
Okay. Like Obig, what is your take in this? Like, what do you believe? Like 5 year
So
down
I
the line
think
or 10 year down the line, 10 years
yeah.
down the line? Yeah. What
So
is going
I
to happen?
think that I totally agree with Akshans and Shoito both because 5 years down the line, first of all, it is standing in the current situation. Also, with the current economic turmoil we are facing through, it is very hard to predict what will happen in the 5 years down the line. But I think that Bitcoin as a volatile asset, it it is a risky asset and a risky and it will be people will be very cautious I consider the point that people are enthusiastic about cryptocurrencies, but the other facts are also there. It is also risky, and it depends on the perception of the risk-taking capacity of the individuals. Also on the also on the investment climate of the economy. Whether they will go for bitcoins or they are happy with the domestic currencies, because what we see in the picture of underdeveloped economies, the picture is totally different. And 5 years down the line, it also depends, means if you use cryptocurrencies, if you want to mine cryptocurrencies, the technology, the sophistication level also all depends on the sophistication level, and how well the high tech systems are being placed. Because as a result, because many are unaware, means in the backward areas, many are also unaware in the underdeveloped countries. So it it will take time to penetrate in the nearest, in the backward areas, in the underdeveloped countries. Yes, in the developed economies, cryptocurrencies are in the forefront. People are subsistible, but they're accepting it as a. But there are various questions which we have to address. So what happens if? But now another question arises, that if stable coins are being replaced, the stable coins comes into the picture, then I think that people will be more habituated to using cryptocurrencies such as stable coins, such as tethers and also other stable DAOs. Actually, the Maker DAO and other things, stable coins have taken the picture, and if they adopt, then I think that there is a bright spot in the near future. And I think that with the cryptocurrency coming into the picture, there is a widespread financial innovation, and people, especially the youngsters, will be very much enthusiastic about these things. So I think let's see what happens in the next few years.
Very nice points. Hindol, you'd like to add something before you
Just
add?
one
Hindol,
thing
like
to-
one question, I'd like to ask you. You can add up your.
I just had to
justification
add
of that.
something which Ovik
Yes,
said.
yes. Only
That
like
is
okay, yeah.
Okay,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Okay, the one question I'd like to ask you, in addition to what Ubik said, like developed countries and developing countries, like what is your take? Like you stated something like developing countries are getting more benefits out of it. So I would
Yeah,
like to
not
know
only
your
that,
view.
like
Yes.
let me add on to what Ovik said. Ovik said was developed countries are the underdeveloped countries are those places where people are not that literate. That's why and mining technologies are not that efficient in a way, and that's why that is something which is still not there. But if I check the facts, underdeveloped countries and developing countries, Southeast Asia and Africa are the countries who mine the most. It's not the developed countries, it's the developing and the underdeveloped countries.
Nice point. So now, what is your take, Hindol? Like, what would be your take? Like, what do you believe? Is it the developed countries who would be beneficial again and get the upper hand, and further the gap between developed nations
like
and the
if I
underdeveloped
look
nations
at
would increase?
into a humanitarian, a human rights approach, then cryptocurrency doesn't allow you for capital gains as such, but I think it will help developing and underdeveloped countries more than developed countries in the long
No,
run, because financially international transactions are being way easier than before.
if anybody wants to, have a counterpoint on this, because I believe there is a conflict of interest here. Obik was saying, Obik, you want to add something here? Or Shoito, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask Hindul that how can it benefit the developing and underdeveloped countries? Means, are you talking about the international transactions or within the domestic area also, the domestic transactions also?
It also depends on the adaptability, right? Since the price if you look into it internationally, like if I consider, let's say, what is the local currency of Philippines or a country like, let's say, Cuba? Okay, there is a huge difference between dollar and these kind of things, these currency. So if they purchase it here and they send it to their like families or whatever who are living in a developed countries, then these transactions are way easier and at the convenience of your home, where you can purchase all these things in your home, in your mobile phone. It becomes way more easier. And if you look into it, then underdeveloped countries like Cuba are accepting open-handedly accepting cryptocurrency open-handedly. Like recently, a prime minister, if I'm not wrong, had made cryptocurrency. Like there is a talk that you do not need to have internet connection to use cryptocurrency. So underdeveloped countries are adapting it way easier. That's why it will develop underdeveloped countries way more than developed countries when it comes to cryptocurrency and its usage.
So it is the government of the underdeveloped country who said that new revolution.
Because it is beneficial for them when it comes to exchange rates.
Okay.
So what do you believe? Like, is it the developed countries again who get more benefit out of it, and further enhance their financial base, the people of the developed nations, or is it the underdeveloped countries who will come into the picture?
Yeah, here I'll refer to the point of what Hindol has said, because he clearly explained that why underdeveloped country might get a benefit, because he rightly pointed out a very good revolution that is without internet we can use the cryptocurrency. And just out of curiosity, Hindol, did you mean that using cryptocurrency as a medium of exchange without internet facility?
A medium of exchange, and also as like investment purposes
without internet. So that's a very good sign, because in underdeveloped countries many people might not be having the access to internet facilities. So
I think it's in South America somewhere. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact president's name.
Okay, so that's a new revolution which is coming up. So
yes, it's a new point.
And I think that if the developed countries also get adapt to those technologies, then the developed countries will also start getting benefits from that. And in developed countries, the literacy rate is very high. So it will take less time for them to get adapted to these technologies.
Now I'd like to come to Akshank. Akshank, you were mentioning Paul Krugman and his views. So, and it is a very strong view coming from someone who is the one of the most prominent, we can say, prominent economist of international trade and everything. So, आपको क्या लगता है अक्षांश की क्या होने वाला है? क्या ये इंटरनेशनली एक्सेप्ट होगा? ऐसे क्या हम लोग इससे बहुत बेनिफिट क्या अभी तक मिला है? आपका ट्रेंड एनालिसिस क्या बोलता है? अभी तक का सिनेरियो बेनिफिट क्या होने वाला है? लाइक सच में ये क्या अच्छा कुछ करेगा दुनिया के लिए?
There are three parts to your question. Okay. So, पहला part I'll just add कि what Hindol told is he's totally right. And secondly, yes, one of the advantages what he pointed out is one of the best advantages why I also consider cryptocurrency. It will bridge the gap between a less developed country and a developed country when it will be introduced as a currency. And the example that he put was totally right. अगर आप फिलीपींस में यूज करते हैं एंड आप सेम अमेरिका में जाते हैं तो जो डिफरेंस है बिटवीन अ फिलीपींस करेंसी, फिलीपींस एक्चुअली फिलीपींस डॉलर, आई थिंक मेरे को जहां तक याद हो फिलीपींस डॉलर एंड जो नॉर्मल अमेरिकन डॉलर के में जो है वो गैप रिड्यूस हो जाए. ठीक है, पहला वो है. ठीक है, फ्यूचर एग्जैक्टली फ्यूचर कंसिडरिंग इज वेरी हार्ड, क्योंकि अभी तक जैसे उसका बेनिफिशियल तो मुझे दिखा नहीं है अभी तक. लाइक फ्रॉम लास्ट 10 years क्रिप्टो करेंसी इज इन यूज एंड आप लोगों ने उस लेवल का बेनिफिशियल नहीं देखा है. क्योंकि आपको एग्जांपल, जस्ट डिसेंट एग्जांपल है टेस्ला वाला. टेस्ला in March end he told that it will be investing in cryptocurrency. So after few days cryptocurrencies market shot at like anything, वो 0 से 100 पहुंच गया. ठीक है, and same eventually as soon as the news started budding about the China's decision of not taking cryptocurrency as a legal currency and banning them, within a day it fell to 50,000 points and cryptocurrency का valuation करीब आधा के तौर पे पहुंचा. सो जो वॉलेटिलिटी का अगेन हम लोग जो बात कर रहे हैं तो वो समझ के इट्स वेरी हार्ड टू प्रेडिक्ट एनीथिंग. एंड जो भी अभी हम लोग बोल दैट स्पेकुलेशन. ठीक है, ऑब्वियसली अगर मोर लाइक लेस वोलेटाइल कॉइन्स आते हैं तो वो भी तक आए नहीं है या अभी प्रोसेस में है, उनका क्या मूवमेंट होगा, गवर्नमेंट्स भी कैसे करेंगे, क्योंकि अभी कंसिडरिंग नेक्स्ट 5 to 10 years government will also play, as well as WTO, World Trade Organization, will also play a major role कि इसका क्या करना है, even though it's a private product or private currency, उस पे गवर्नमेंट का रोल भी बहुत है। तो गवर्नमेंट का भी स्टैंड, कोई भी गवर्नमेंट apart from US and few other European nations, other government का from top 130 countries, apart from few 10 countries, किसी का स्टैंड भी क्लियर नहीं है कि क्या होने वाला या क्या होगा, ठीक है। So it's very hard. From again my considering point, from my point of view, trading could be a very good option if you are a risk taker person, very good option, because it gives you a very good return. एक बार में आप जो स्टॉक करते हैं, अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड में भी इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, अगर आप क्योंकि म्यूचुअल फंड ज्यादा सेव रहता है, अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड आपको 20% दे रहा है और स्टॉक अगर आपको 30% का एडवांटेज दे रहा है, तो ये आपको 50 से 60% का एडवांटेज देता है, अप एंड डाउन का रहता है,
डाइवर्सिफिकेशन होता है उसमें, इसलिए
एग्जैक्टली
वेरी नाइस पॉइंट, डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ऑफ पोर्टफोलियो,
एग्जैक्टली। बट यहाँ पे आपको ज्यादा देता है, रिटर्न देता है, तो यस इट्स अ वेरी गुड फॉर ट्रेडिंग, बट वही कि आपका करेंसी के तौर पे, एंड अगेन आई गो रिमाइंड यू ऑफ नो पॉइंट कि उसका मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज अब 10 साल में क्या होता है, एंड आप प्लस हमारे एजुकेशन एंड नॉलेज सिस्टम के बारे में भी है, जहाँ पे बैंकिंग सिस्टम का अभी तक उस लेवल पर नहीं आया, तो आप किस, क्योंकि आपको एजुकेशन चाहिए, आपको यूज करने के, आपको वो कोड जनरेट करना चाहिए। सो आई थिंक जो हिंदोल का जो पॉइंट जहां पे मैं डेविएट हो रहा था कि अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में एजुकेशन लेवल एंड उसके बारे में क्या, ऑब्वियसली पीपल आर माइनिंग, देयर माइट बी माइनिंग, आई डू नॉट हैव अ प्रॉपर नॉलेज, आई जस्ट हर्ड फ्रॉम हिंदोल की फिर अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में लोग ज्यादा माइन कर रहे हैं, बट वो भी ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल होंगे, जैसे सेम इंडिया में कि ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल है जिनको फाइनेंशियल नॉलेज है, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम देम, सो अगेन वही क्वेश्चन मार्क, ठीक है।
But
थैंक यू।
when the government comes into play and when government makes it a public thing, then it naturally educates the public, right?
एग्जैक्टली, तो स्पेकुलेट है ना, गवर्नमेंट क्या एडुकेट करेगा क्या नहीं करेगा, वो अगेन
but I agree with your point here, and it will take some time. There will be some propositions which the cryptocurrency market has to change, and it is changing continuously to make it more stable. So it's working, and it will take some time, and we can still consider cryptocurrency as a beta. It's in its early days right now.
We could consider, again, I point out, I'll totally stand to my point, we could consider that a very important point of option of trading, but not as a currency of exchange, even though it will be reducing the gap between the developed
I'm also not telling that it's a good way of accepting as a currency right now at this point, and it needs various changes, not only financially, ecologically as well.
So Vik, I'd like to ask you something like cryptocurrency, and if we consider the big picture here, okay, like isn't it so like the industrialists would be again getting the most benefit out of it, and the common mass and the people of the population, the middle class people, they won't be having that edge over those people, and very few benefit, few beneficials would be there. So what is your take in this?
So first of all, I would like to focus on the developing economies, if they adopt using cryptocurrencies in the near future. So in developing countries, you see that many people do not have access to banks, means financial inclusion is very less in the developing countries. So if you consider the common mass, I keep aside the big industrialists will benefit the cryptocurrencies through have access to international trade, and also they do not have to consider various technology, e-commerce. They can gather various mass international market. But regarding the common masses, I have a feeling that if people move to cryptocurrencies, so the small scale businesses, the common people will have a more financial freedom, more financial freedom, more financial freedom, innovation, and also they could exchange goods, means they could trade in exchange of bitcoins in another cryptocurrencies, where they do not have to depend on bank, and because we see that in backward areas still in India, many people do not have access to banks because they do not have the proper documentation. So these things are pretty much reduced if they adopt cryptocurrencies, if they go and use cryptocurrencies in a much better way. The common mass will be benefited through financial inclusion, by the use of cryptocurrencies. Because I think also in banks, as you have seen that recently many frauds happen in the banking sector. I think these things will be reduced, and people's money, the money of the common people will be saved from these frauds and attacks, because people will start beginning to trade in through the networks. Through They will have a private key, and through that they will access their bitcoins, and they will exchange commodities and other things and other stuffs. And the scope of financial inclusion will be much better. I think that common mass will be benefited in the developing countries.
Okay. Okay, so Obig, you introduced a very nice concept in our discussion. Now it is financial inclusion. How do you believe we can include those rural people in the rural areas and suburban areas? How we can include them via this technique? Like, what is your
So I talked about the financial inclusion concept regarding the benefits of cryptocurrency uses in the developing countries. So I pointed out that I believe that in the developing country, as you see, means in India also, many in the backward areas also, people do not have access to banks, and there is a lack of financial inclusion. So I think that in the near future, if we consider the developing country, so if people use cryptocurrencies, then there is a significant increase in financial inclusion. Because as you know that cryptocurrencies the users of cryptocurrencies do not require bank account. Do not have to open a bank account. You do not have to give collaterals or for loans or in documentation purposes. The transactions are very smooth. Also the transactions in the blockchain network are very fast. So I think that by including cryptocurrencies in the developing countries, especially Nigeria, for example, they have benefited from it. Many of them have shifted to cryptocurrencies bases, and they have started using it, because people generally do not have to open bank accounts, do not have to show papers to open, and also they do not have to rely on third party mechanisms of the central bank authorizations. So people can freely trade in through bitcoins and cryptocurrencies by having a private key, and also through entering to the blockchain network. So I believe that financial inclusion could be increased in this way by including the cryptocurrency in the developing countries.
This is a very big speculation Ubik made here. And I'd like to come to you, Shoito, with a question like rural people, rural India or rural people, in Nigeria, which consists of the most of the, occupational structure or the demography we consider of the underdeveloped nations, the developing nations for the matter. So, what is your take, Shoito, in accordance to what Ubik said? Will it be so easy to, to enhance the financial inclusion via this, because it is a more complex process at times, like initially if we consider. So
Yeah, very true, Pujan. Even I was having that question, that will that be so easy process or not? But for that, actually, I want to ask a question to Obik regarding that. That is, Obik, you said that it is very easy to take loans without collateral. So suppose if I am having 100 say bitcoins only, 100 bitcoins, and I need 50 more, then what should I do?
Then I think you have to trade in through the blockchain network, and people willing to lend in bitcoins, so they can give in through without the documentation process, without the hassle fee. Means it will be a process of hassle fee, I believe. Means because if you consider the financial inclusion part, so my point was that if we could include the people without the documentation part, and without people, because as you know the developing countries are mainly the underdeveloped countries, people do not have access to a bank account. The process is also a lot of cumbersome. So I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
financial inclusion could be included with if people come, if
Obik,
adopt
I'm
cryptocurrencies.
respectfully
okay,
stopping you.
Shoito.
Respectfully stopping you.
Yeah.
Same with, suppose I am a rural person. Okay, I am having
Mm-hmm.
100 rupees only. If I want
Mm-hmm.
to take a loan of say 200 or 300 rupees, I have to visit a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Now assume that I
Mm-hmm.
do not have a bank account. Okay. Or let's assume that, yeah, I have a bank account, but I need to take a loan. Okay. Then without collateral, why will the bank pay me? Okay. No, I'm just, this is a rhetorical question. So similarly, I have to give a collateral. Now, in terms of cryptocurrency only, if I want to take 300 bitcoins from you, say, why will you give it to me for free? Or is there any mechanism that that you can keep a surety that I will pay you back, and even if I do not pay you back, you will get some benefit out of me?
I am not aware of it actually. That means how the process will have occurred. But
Did you get my question?
as
Basically, means it was a long question. Did you understood? Did you understand?
Yes. Means you are talking with the perspective of bitcoins and comparing it with the collateral part or collateral perspective. And if I have to give you 300 bitcoins in exchange, so how can I guarantee that you will return me 300 bitcoins?
The reason I asked this question because Pujan was asking regarding the financial inclusion, and if the in the rural areas, if people want to grow their businesses, they need to take some loans, right? So for that, how it can take this with the cryptocurrencies?
Means I thought that the small scale industries and the backward people can multiply their transactions, the business transactions through the Bitcoin exchanges. They do not have to go to the banks, and they do not have to go through a lot of procedures. Even if they do not have a bank account, certain transactions can be occurred smoothly in the Bitcoin, in the blockchain network. There could be what should I say? There could be a trading and small business trade
of goods and commodities. You were saying.
In exchange
Akshank has a point. Akshank has a point.
So I would like to correct you at a point when banks talk about without collateral loan. Okay, so that's true that they did not take any collateral, but they actually assess your asset. Okay, they actually calculate your assets. Is the loan you're asking, is the valuation of the assets more to that? Because suppose for instance you're not able to pay the loan, they could take your asset even though they did not take any collateral. So first point to be corrected. And when you talk about Bitcoin and any cryptocurrency as a whole, their valuation is very high. So you need to consider this gap, because a money which is 100 rupees, or when you talk about 10,000 rupees, and a currency like whose valuation is very, like, just I checked, the current today's value of Bitcoin is 21 single Bitcoin is 24 lakhs. So if you want a 10,000 loan, you will get a very minute percentage of cryptocurrency as a loan. So what would be that process? That process, again, it's a speculation. Would it be handled by the private players who have already invented or come up with the concept of cryptocurrency or a Bitcoin, or would it be actually regulated through bank? When it comes to a very major point is कि आप पैसा उसको वापस कैसे दो? वहां पे वही आता है कि यहाँ पे छोटे मोटे अमाउंट के बारे में बात नहीं है, यहाँ पे जो फिगर है वो बहुत बड़ा है. एंड आप यहाँ पे आप कंसिडर बिटकॉइन और करेंसी को आज के टाइम पे नहीं हो सकता है. हाँ, फ्यूचर में वी कैन कंसिडर सेम, बट अभी जो स्पेकुलेट करना वेरी हार्ड होगा कि जो फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन का बात है, ठीक है, वो कैसे होगा? क्योंकि फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन, ठीक है, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन दो पार्ट, एक पार्ट ये भी है कि बैंक्स बोलती है कि लोग आते नहीं है, बट क्योंकि मैंने इंटर्नशिप किया हुआ है बैंक में, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में, हम लोग टूर पे गए थे, तो प्रॉब्लम ये नहीं कि बैंक्स मतलब लोग आते नहीं, प्रॉब्लम ये कि वहां पे फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन के बैंक्स ही रोक नहीं देते कि हम रूरल एरिया में क्यों खोलें, ठीक है. तो अगर इंस्टेंस ऐसा होता है कि अगर हम लोग उन लोग को ट्रेनिंग दे, तो शायद एफर्ट ट्रेनिंग दे कि बिटकॉइन क्या है, बट बिटकॉइन एंड क्रिप्टो करेंसी में एक बेसिक लेवल ऑफ ट्रेडिंग होना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि दे नीड टू नो कि उसका वॉलेटिलिटी क्या है. एक सिंपल इंस्टेंस है, ये है कि जब गवर्नमेंट ब्रिंग इन ये लाई थी जनधन योजना का, आपने सुना होगा सबने,
बिल्कुल.
आप बता रहे जनधन योजना का स्कीम क्या था? जनधन योजना का था कि आप 0 अमाउंट में अपना बैंक अकाउंट खोल सकते हैं, ठीक है, बट उसमें प्रॉब्लम ये है कि जैसे आप बैंक खोलते हैं तो आपका इंस्टेंटली 2 रुपया कटता है आपके बैंक अकाउंट से, आप जैसे पैसे डालते हैं फॉर योर हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, ठीक है। एंड वो 2 रुपया भी जब कटाना पैसा, तो पब्लिक ने हल्ला किया कि आप मेरे से बिना पूछे पैसा कैसे काट सकते हैं, ठीक है। अब और ये किसी के बैंक अकाउंट के हाथ में नहीं, ना कोई बैंक होना चाहिए, पूरा वो सिस्टम जो डेवलप किया गया था, जो सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलप किया गया था फॉर जनधन योजना, उसके लिए हुआ था, ठीक है। तो अब इसी तरह में कि जब वो अगर वैल्यूएशन वो लोन लेता है या उसका वैल्यूएशन बढ़ गया या घट गया, तो उस कंसिडर में क्या होगा, क्योंकि ये वोलेटाइल है, आप उसको स्टेबल नहीं कर सकते। अगर वो स्टेबल है तो फिर तो वो तो क्रिप्टो करेंसी ही नहीं है।
Okay. So we have talked a lot about cryptocurrency, bitcoins, and various other cryptocurrencies and its functionings and how it could be as a medium of exchange in future, or its cons as well. So Shohit, so I'd like to come to you. What is your take? Like how it will help, or how it will really contribute to the real GDP of a nation? Like how it would be a real beneficiary for a nation or the global economy as a whole if you structure.
Um, at this position, it is very hard to predict that how it can affect the real GDP. But of course, if the cryptocurrency gets accepted by all the nations in terms of as a medium of exchange, and if it clears all the problems and it behaves in such a manner which the uh, paper currency used to work or is working, then I think that the way the economy was moving, it will move in a similar manner from then on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shohit. So Hindol, okay, before going to Hindol, Shohit, the last thing I'd like to ask you, your closing remark. Like, what do you believe? Would cryptocurrency be a success story or a failure? If you have to choose one, what is your take? A failure story or a success? Like, as you see,
Uh,
as being a visionary, what you can.
Most of the people, I think, that won't believe it. Even the large investors will not accept the cryptocurrency as a medium of exchange. But for that, if the cryptocurrency comes into play as a medium of exchange, I think that it can be better if the large MNCs keep an option that if you do not want to pay with your paper currency or with notes, you can pay
So
with
either way, Shohito,
with
a
the
success
cryptocurrency.
story or a failure, what do you believe? Either way,
In one
why
word,
you have.
in one word,
Yes, is one. If you have to pick one, what is your take? What is your
failure.
prediction? Failure, failure. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. So Hindol, what is your take? Like,
It's two folds exactly. I cannot say yes or no directly because there are certain things which you have to consider. Like in short term, it's a no. Like for the next 10 years, I don't think it is because you have to consider various factors. It's not stable, it's volatile, it's hampering it's hampering the ecology because let's say to run the Bitcoin, the electricity consumption is equivalent to Sweden's net electricity consumption. So you have to come up with alternative sources to reduce those things, and you have to make it stable as well. But as I said before, that there are workings going on. So in the long run, not 10, 20 years, but more than 50, 60 years down the line, I would say that it might be a success story.
20 years is a long term. So 20 years is
Yeah,
a long term time.
I don't think it will do that good. Like for investing purpose, it will do.
Okay.
But
So Hindol,
but
if you have to pick one, a bit in favor of one side, which one would you choose? Like,
I
which
like to
one
be a bit
your prediction?
optimistic there and say yes.
Okay, success story. Okay, I get it. Obik, what? Acha, being an Obik, I'd like to ask you one thing. Like, being an economist, or economist modeling, if you do, and if you think in that way, and all the financial inclusion part you mentioned and everything, like, what do you feel? Like, would it be a success story or not?
Uh,
Would it be a success
so
story or a failure story? What do you think?
first of all, in the medium run, in the 10 in I think that in the 10 to 15 years, I think that Bitcoin will be means cryptocurrency as a whole will be a success story, because there are many folds to it. It will be very much popular if things go in the right direction. the developing country will adopt fast because developing countries do not have, as I have told, that do not have banking access to banking facilities. Financial inclusion will increase transaction cost. Also, the another fact is transaction cost. So the in cryptocurrencies the transaction costs are minimal, so people can adapt to beat cryptocurrencies a lot. And and also there is also fact that gains are very much so industry. So I think that industrial houses will be very much eager to invest in such a what should I say, in such a new asset, new class of assets. Yes, other side is also there, that it is volatile, but also, as I have pointed out, that stable coins are truly coming up in the process, and stable DAOs, stable decentralized apps are also coming up. I think that Bitcoin, the picture of cryptocurrencies is positive, in my opinion, because
Okay,
of all
success
this
story.
fact.
I got it. Thank you, Upik, for your insights. Akshansh, I like to ask you one thing. Like, cryptocurrency has been there for a long time now. Okay, almost 10 years or so. But why now? Why now it is picking up, and how do you see it going ahead? Will it be a success story or a failure? You can put some light on that, emphasis on this basis. Akshansh, you are on mute, Akshansh. Please unmute.
Yeah. So I partly agree with Hindol, and currently considering uh, current journey from last 10 years, yes, it has been a success story. And the people in last 5 years, there's a huge shift of people trading in cryptocurrency. So that's a success story. And for me, in coming 10, 20 years, I'll still stand with the point. It's a very there'll be two parts. One part, in trading sector, again, more people will join in, and more youth are going to take Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a trading option, a very good option. But I'll consider as a when you talk about medium of exchange, it will be a failure story, because again, 2 points: the factors, the valuation and its pegging value. It cannot be managed anytime. Like, even though it is, even if we have your less volatile coins, but it's volatile. At the end of the day, it's a coin which will be based upon market trading. Okay, it will be based on demand and supply. आज demand ज्यादा है तो उसको प्राइस कम ज्यादा रहेगा, कल सप्लाई ज्यादा है तो प्राइस कम रहेगा. बट उसको एक्चुअल वैल्यू कुछ नहीं. जैसे एक 100 रुपया नोट का एक एक्चुअल वैल्यू, फेस वैल्यू है कि भाई ये 100 रुपया का नोट ही है. हम चाहे आज यूज करें, चाहे हम 10 साल बाद यूज करें, वो बिटकॉइन का नहीं है. So in considering that terms, it in terms of medium of exchange and a way to trade one to one, it's a failure. But yes, when you talk about as a market, as a stock market, or as a trading object, it is a success story, and it will be more to come. And actually, it will help economy also. When you talk about trading, it will help. And the major advantage, if it comes at currency, the one problem that will be solving, only one, that is the difference of the currency valuation. What Hindor had pointed out earlier regarding the Philippines example, same, only that advantage. Other than that, in a medium of exchange, it will be a failure.
But if it comes, Akshansh, like, isn't it so, like, a massive complexity will arise in the global exchange?
Obviously, it
So
even
is it
though
feasible? Do you believe, is it feasible now? I don't think it
feasible in terms
that
of
much.
feasible.
Feasible, matlab, it won't be possible, because there will be global, opposition to it. The strong economy
Obviously,
won't. Yeah.
obviously. And
So ये होगा
see,
नहीं,
if
Akshansh.
obviously, if government also wants to regulate and all, it had to have its own system, and वो system बहुत costly है. When we talk about mining एक normal hacking नहीं है. Hacking से भी एक level ऊपर का है, where you need a computer like supercomputers to mine. ठीक है. So are any of these government ready for that kind of investment in this particular area when they see return कुछ नहीं है, या इकोनॉमिक का वैसे टैंजिबल एसेट्स में कुछ भला नहीं होने वाला. मैं सिंपल लाइन बोलूंगा कि कुछ एडवांटेज या कुछ भला नहीं होने वाला. सपोज कि अगर गवर्नमेंट इन्वेस्ट करती है इस टेक्नोलॉजी में, तो क्या इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वैसा कुछ डेवलपमेंट होगा? नहीं होगा. हाँ, in terms of IT and all वो हो सकता है, but ऐसे कुछ नहीं होगा. when you talk about currency, क्योंकि इन्वेस्टमेंट लगेगा यार इसमें. when you consider government point, उसको पूरे कंट्री को लेके चलना है. ठीक है. So again, from my side, it will be a failure.
ओके, तो आप कह रहे हैं कि फेलियर होगा अगर हम लोग करेंसी का उसमें कंसिडर करते हैं
एग्जैक्टली,
एज ए मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज, एंड सक्सेस होगा अगर ये स्टॉक मार्केट एज ए स्टॉक या इक्विटी हम लोग इसको देखें या
Totally.
कमोडिटी एज ए कमोडिटी इसको
एग्जैक्टली,
देखें.
टोटली.
Okay, thank you, Akshan. Thank you. So this was it, our second discussion on the conversations, the bi-weekly discussions we have. Do like, subscribe, and comment. Give your valuable feedback on how you believe cryptocurrency will perform in future. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all, and thank you all the panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai Hind.